y'all. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We're here with another edition of Chesapeake Chats. I'm your host, Lisa, and I'm joined by the always lovely Kaycee. Hi, Kaycee.
Hello. I'm back.
Hey, okay, I have to ask before we get started. You're staying dry. Yes, I'm very concerned about the hurricane and your location in Florida.
Yes.
So,
We on the west side are good.
Okay.
But thoughts and prayers to everybody else on the East Coast. So
I know, poor Caroline in South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I'm going to need this to pivot, like that Ross meme I saw in Nydia. Raquel 25's
Yes.
Twitter. Pivot. Yeah, I'm going to need that.
It's going to pivot. It needs to pivot off back into where it came from.
Well, I feel bad for everybody in the Bahamas. It's terrible.
I know. It's so sad.
We did have rain today. I don't think it has anything to do with this. And I don't think we're supposed to get any rain over on the East Coast, like way up north until later this week because but of course it won't be anywhere near as bad. So I just wanted to check in with you. And if you guys are in the path, stay safe. We're thinking about you.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So Chesapeake Shores, season 4, episode 2, Leap of Faith. What were your overall thoughts? Did you dislike this episode?
My overall thoughts summed up in one word is intrigue.
Ooh.
I am very intrigued about several of these storylines, and they've definitely whet my appetite this time. Even some of the weird business drama, I'm like, ooh, yeah. Okay.
I like that word. That's a good word. My apprehension with this, though, is that 2 episodes down, we've got 4 to go. And this, I mean, if we had 10 episodes, I could see this getting real meaty real fast, like all of these little storylines. But now I'm nervous that it's just going to be very quick. But we'll see. I shouldn't judge. We don't know.
Well, you're right, because usually there's 10 and there's only 6 this season, so maybe they're building up intrigue for season 5.
Okay. I mean, that would be, or a movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or a movie.
But we're after next Sunday, we're halfway done.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
It's weird.
I don't like this. But overall for me, okay, I will say that there were so many parts that really worked for me. And then there were parts where I'm starting to not like certain people. And I'm kind of getting irritated. But okay, so yours is intrigue and mine is irritated.
Okay. Great alliteration.
Is intrigue and my word is irritated. Okay, so I figured we go through the episode by couple or by character, and these are in no particular order other than how they popped up on my screen. And the first ones were Jess and David, who throughout the episode are saying goodbye again to the B&B and have decided to shop for another one. And personally, this storyline kind of gave me a lot of questions. I had a lot of wait, what was this? But overall, David was super dreamy. He just, I don't know why, but I mean, he's always attractive to me. But this episode, he was just super charming and super dreamy. And I wanted more. But what did you think of their...
Yeah, you're right. David is pretty dreamy and he's pretty perfect. And I'm like, okay, I can take it. Usually I don't like perfect characters, but because he's not a main character, and even his storyline with Jess isn't a main storyline, it seems, as of now. I'm okay with him being perfect and sweet and amazing. So, yeah. But yeah, lots of questions, though. Lots of questions.
Okay, here's the thing. They decide to leave the B&B again. It's gotten termites, and so in the episode at some point, Jess refers to it as, my B&B has Swiss cheese. It's like Swiss cheese or something because it's got all these holes from termites. Great. But my question is, how did they just leave it? I mean, just because you get termites doesn't mean you're just free to abandon the property. Like if my house got termites, I wouldn't just be like, well, I guess that stinks. I'll find a new home. Like I still have a mortgage and I still have to make payments on it. I have to fix it. I just don't get to fix it and then leave, I guess, unless I pay off the house and say, that's it, I'm done. Bye.
Yet
but
you kind of have to
I
sell
don't
your
understand.
property in order to get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't understand this. And wasn't this also on the same large piece of land as the O'Brien home? Because in the beginning of the series, just like waves at Bree at one point, is like, "Hey, we can wave at each other."
Yeah. They were like throwing distance within each other. That's why Jess always popped up at the O'Brien house.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when they left for the inn that David's parents bought them, it kind of wasn't really fully explained how they got rid of the B&B. And then they decided to come back the first episode of the season. Great. And now we see it all shuttered up. And man, it's had all this overgrowth, all these weeds, all the boards on the windows. It looks terrible. And I'm thinking,
Mm,
if the O'Briens are like legit a quarter of a mile down the road,
right.
how did they not be like, oh, we need to clean this up? This is ugly.
Maybe it's hashtag rich people problems. David's family was probably like, "Hey, we got money. No, don't worry about it. It's all good. We'll get you your own little inn, and you don't have to worry about the little shabby chic one in Chesapeake Shores." And that's my assumption. Rich people problems.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand. Okay, so if the building's condemned and it's shuttered, why don't they just tear it
Foreclose.
down? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Maybe it's
And
under foreclosure
maybe,
and they still haven't gotten a buyer or any, buddy. But then again, even if it went into foreclosure, couldn't Jess's dad just buy it and tear it down?
yeah.
Or couldn't he just
See,
tear it down because it's on his? I don't know.
I have questions.
Mm.
And then so they decide to move forward. Okay, they're going to buy another one. Great. But my next question is how big is Chesapeake Shores where there are this many B&Bs available? Because at one point David and Jess are walking down the street and Jess is saying, "I don't want to say goodbye to the B&B. I want ours. I don't want anything else." And David basically makes her close her eyes and turn around, and she opens her eyes and there's all these listings. Now I know, granted, they're probably not all bed and breakfasts availabilities, probably just some homes mixed in with some mixed use. But I'm just, how big is Chesapeake Shores? I'm confused.
So here's my thought on that. Maybe it's on the Vancouver Island that has so many little towns all around.
Okay.
And the B&B is not necessarily in Chesapeake Shores, but it's in Vancouver Shores next
Vancouver
door.
Shores. Van Shores.
Van
Yes.
Shores. Yep.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, and even with like at times, well, actually this season as they're showing Mick and all of his developments and how they're in trouble, they are like large, massive developments. So how big is Chesapeake Shores? I mean, it
Right.
looked really small, but okay.
Maybe he owns all the island.
That's what they kind of alluded to in the first season,
Mm-hmm.
that they basically created the entire town of Chesapeake Shores. So maybe it's bigger than we realize, but.
And he's expanding to all the other little towns. Maybe he goes into the main land.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
suburbs of Chesapeake Shores. I don't know. It's all very confusing, but.
I just realized a mistake that I just said a few minutes ago. It's not Vancouver because they film on Vancouver Island. They are on Chesapeake Shore Island or something in Maryland. So, yeah.
Right. No,
my head was
in
Canada. My thoughts were in Maryland, but not connecting. Anyways, basically what I was trying to say is island, Chesapeake Shores is a little town, and all the little towns on the island, whatever the island is. Sure.
Right. See, I thought you were just making fun of the fact that it's in Canada, but it's supposed to be.
We can go with that too.
Right. Dealer's choice. As you're listening, whichever you decide, that's fine. Okay, so we get to see Bree rehearsing her play with the director, and Bree throughout this episode is struggling because the real Simon shows up, and now she has the real Simon and play Simon, and eventually she has a third Simon, which is partly in her head, I think, and she thinks that the real Simon doesn't have as much passion as play Simon, And it's a lot of Simons, and I got kind of irritated with it, if I can say that. So
Yeah. I was so confused.
yeah, there's a
I
lot of Simon.
eat a lot of Simon. A lot of Simon being, very kind and nice, and a lot of Bree and her internal struggles. And I was confused because what is this? Season 4? We've known Simon since what? Season
Season 2,
2-ish?
right?
And I thought they were rocking and rolling as a couple.
And
But
apparently not.
yeah, did they ever have the, DTR, define the relationship talk? I don't remember.
I mean, I think that's basically been their relationship, is trying to decide whether they have a relationship. And if they're not talking about writing or, the manuscript from last season, then they're talking about whether or not they should actually be together. She did a lot of waffling last season with, I don't know if I should be with Simon. I don't know. Eh, And at this point, okay, I'm just going to be honest, y'all, because seriously, and until this episode, Brie has been one of my favorite characters, but she's kind of bugging me this season. I'm going to say that I I don't think she's really had much character growth. She doesn't communicate with anybody about anything or how she's feeling. Like, she never really wants to rock the boat. In season 1, it was Martin. She kind of escaped Chicago and hid out in Chesapeake Shores because she didn't want to confront that whole situation. And
Mm-hmm.
then Simon, she couldn't decide whether she wanted to be with him. And even now, same thing. She can't decide whether she wants to be with him. Caroline, his ex-girlfriend, when she showed up, she didn't really want to confront that. She just hid out with her sisters and was like, I guess they're together. I don't know. And it's like, and then even with her mom, like their whole situation from the past and with dealing with the manuscript, she just kind of, I don't want to deal with it, and just would hide or whatever, just take it. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I can see that. So, do you know what the Enneagram is?
I do. I've never done it, but I do know what it is.
Okay. So, for anybody else that's listening, the Enneagram is basically kind of like a typing system, kind of like Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders, etc. Except there are 9 numbers, and everybody has an innate number. And then you also have your number in stress, your number in growth, etc., etc. The Enneagram also
Gotcha.
is based on your motivation. So how you see the world and how you react to the world, rather than, which is opposite of Myers-Briggs, which is Myers-Briggs is how people see you, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. That does make
So,
sense. Okay.
yeah. So where I'm going with this is I'm pretty sure Bree is a 9. Because, and then 9s they like their inner peace. They're kind of like the peacekeeper, but not necessarily peacekeeper of others, although they can do that, but more like internal peace. They don't like rocking the boat. And I say this because I'm an Enneagram 9, and I can totally see myself being like Brie, as annoying as she is right now. But avoidance is very much a thing with 9s. They don't like confrontation, so they avoid it. They suppress it. They ignore it. They pretend it's not there, which is very much what Brie is doing right now. She does not want to address anything. She didn't want to address anything with Martin. She ran away. She didn't want to address anything with her mom. She's kind of like, okay, bye. Which is totally something I would do in a weird, awkward, didn't want to confront type of situation. I'm kind of like, ooh, I'm going to pretend this never happened and go about my life. Because if I open this up, I'm going to be very internally conflicted inside and stuff. So I'm going to put it out there for anybody watching who is an Enneagram fan. Let me know if you agree with me. Is Brie an Enneagram 9? And obviously, she's not a healthy Enneagram 9 because she is still avoiding for 3 years later.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that all made sense to me. And I will tell you that when it comes to acquaintances and below, aka strangers, yeah, I'll avoid till I'm blue in the face. I don't need to discuss anything with you. But if it's somebody that I'm super close with, like anybody in my immediate family, or like, like my mom or my kids or my husband, oh yeah, I will be like, listen, this is what I need, and this is what I need right now. So the fact that like Bree, I could understand being skittish with Simon, but like
Yeah.
everybody else, and throughout this entire series, I'm just like, Bree, just say what you want. Like, just talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just
I get
open
it though.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it though. And I did like that she was conflicted. She said at one point, I don't know, I think I missed the passion of Martin, but Simon and I don't know, my Marmon or my Citan, I don't know, I'm still working on it. She gave them a couple name, which is awesome because that's my favorite.
That's the best.
It was.
But yeah, that proves I'm pretty sure she's a 9. She can't, they're also indecisive.
Okay.
And indecisive because they don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings.
So basically you need to do this for all the characters and tell me what they all are.
Oh, we do. We need to have a bonus episode because I can go on all night about this. But basically, while Bree is really frustrating, because I see her as frustrating, I can also see myself being like Bree. So I also have like empathy there.
Yeah, I shouldn't be too hard on her, but I guess it's because she's one of my favorites that
Yeah.
this episode for sure, I was really over the indecisive like attitude.
Yeah.
But, so after the Bree, we get to see Mick again, and basically with Mick, he has been indicted. The concrete guy, or Paul, I prefer concrete guy, but we'll call him Paul, has basically said, no, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. And it feels like we're kind of getting land trusted again because, again, I don't think that they have enough episodes to explore this whole thing in full. But my question is do you think that this entire storyline is basically all in service to get Connor to go out on his own as a lawyer, like open his own firm?
That's a good question. I didn't get that vibe. I mean, maybe it's because I've siloed Mick with all his legal issues the last 3-4 years.
Right.
And so I didn't get that vibe, although that's a good thought process there. But can you really see Connor defending his dad? Because they're both so headstrong.
Maybe. I mean, the reason I say that is because at one point in the episode, and I was going to talk about this with Connor, but I'm going to bring it up now. Maybe the one thing that Mick at one point tells Connor, when you work for someone else, like he made a point of telling him, when you work for someone else, you have to do what they say. You have to listen to them or you can get fired. And I feel like that point was being made because maybe Connor's going to, maybe if I just don't work for somebody else, maybe if I work for myself, I can do what I want. And what I want to do is, practice my own law and be a trial lawyer. Oh, and my dad needs help. Oh, and my sister is probably going to need help. So I'll just create my own law firm. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see him as, his own boss.
Right.
Just because he's so used to the corporate world and he's super young and hot-headed. So, what lessons is Connor going to learn if he goes out on his own?
But that could be an interesting storyline. Like if we had another season or something and he's on his own, those could be some struggles. And, if they want to bring Danielle back into the mix, he could try and hire her. I don't know. I mean,
there could be partners together.
Yeah. I will say, and this has no bearing whatsoever on the storyline, but Andrew Francis can wear a suit really well. Like his suits in this episode, his ties, they were all very great.
Yes.
So I just really needed that noted, everybody. Andrew Francis, if you ever listen to this, good job.
Yeah, he does wear a suit really well.
Good for you.
Super sharp.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead because we talked about it, so I'm just going to bring Connor in if that's okay. If we can talk
Yeah.
about Connor real quick. Okay. So in this episode, Connor ends up getting demoted by his Uncle Thomas. His Uncle Thomas is really irritated, actually really basically ticked off that Connor forced him and the other people he was fighting, I'm not entirely certain what to call them, to trial. And Thomas said, I specifically told you to draw this out with paperwork and not to force it to go to trial so we can have this an extended, for an extended lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And Connor's like, yeah, but I can win. I know I can win. I can make this happen. And Uncle Thomas is just basically, look, I'm not your uncle right now. I'm your boss. I'm telling you to knock it off. I mean, in the end, Connor ends up winning, and that's great. But Thomas says, you know what? I can't trust you. I can't trust that you won't go rogue. I'm going to go ahead and demote you back to research. And so that's another reason why I think
Mm.
Connor's going to quit. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
is a good point. It is. I was trying to figure out, why did Connor decide to just brashly decide to take everything to court? Was it because he was slightly jealous of Danielle being up for partner and he's not getting anywhere because he has a boring law job?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for real though, how exciting is, environmental law?
Right.
Snore.
Yeah. A lot of paperwork. And you're right. I do think that's a good point. I do think that he was kind of goaded into it. Like, not really that. No, it's not like they were pressuring him, but I think he was, like you said, jealous. Like, oh, they're Danielle and that other rando dude that they were at the bridge club with talking about lawyerly stuff. Yeah, I think he thought, man, this is not exciting. And I think he saw something in the complaints
Mm-hmm.
that was led him to say, oh, I can win this. This is a slam dunk. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. Plus, I will tell you too, like, because I have a friend who is a lawyer, so probably about the same timing as Connor's lawyering job life.
Uh-huh.
But she mentioned it takes a while to get to trial. Like, just as a lawyer, you don't just go to trial all the time. It's a lot of
Right.
paperwork, a lot of mediations, a lot of, settling. It's very, for her in her state, it's not common to go to trial. A lot of
Right.
times people settle before this. So I'm kind of like, is Connor just bored? Is he just trying to prove to
Right.
everybody else, like, hey, y'all, I could get him in trial. We don't have to mediate. We're going to sick him. Like, well,
Right.
I'm
It
just
was all
confused.
very
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if he did start his own firm, like, he would still have to listen to his clients and what they want. And he'd have to give them the best advice based on his findings and not because he wants to, I don't know, be all, you know, tough. I don't know.
Right. Which is what Uncle Thomas tells him at the end when he demotes him. He said, Connor, you're an excellent lawyer. The problem is that you can't listen to what you want. You have to act on what your client needs.
Yeah.
And otherwise, you're going to basically dig yourself into a hole. And side note, in the words of the great Don Amico from Parks and Rec, Uncle Thomas can get it. I mean, I just love him. I need more of him in my
Yeah.
life. But yeah, in that scene, he was super powerful. And I was like, yes, you can get
Mhm.
it, sir. And in the scene with him, with Uncle Thomas and Mick walking down the street talking about legal troubles and whatnot, I will say this. Those are two like very, very experienced actors. And
Yes.
I just love watching them two together. And I guarantee that they have a lot of stories from their whole entire career because they've been in everything. And watching them interact with each other is just a delight just because
Mhm.
they're such incredible actors. And I just love it. So that's my little side note. Sorry. Okay. So in this episode, oh, Kevin. We can't forget about Kevin.
No, we can't forget about dear sweet Kevin.
Kevin, who basically, okay, it's Kevin. We realize that he is still a paramedic, and he gets a 911 call, and it ends up being his old high school coach. I'm gonna say I really loved this storyline. I really loved that the writers made it clear like that the coach was there in ways that the kids didn't even realize at the time, and now they're adults. They saw how much he cared and how much he reached out to them. As the daughter of a coach slash teacher, the sister of a coach slash teacher, and I was in athletics for 20 years. I just really, really love this storyline. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it was very reminiscent for me just because I remember, thinking meh about high school teachers and old coaches and stuff. And now looking back, it's like they really impacted my life.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so sweet. And what Kevin did for him. I don't know. It made
I,
me warm and fuzzy inside.
I liked it. It seemed like an odd storyline interjected within all of this other stuff. I mean, I liked it. It seemed a little out of place in the flow of the show, but
Mhm.
I I I still enjoyed it a lot just because of
Yeah.
the nature of the storyline. And of course I like seeing them in their Letterman jackets at one point at the end, which if those were their actual Letterman jackets from high school, those look really good.
I know they were really bright.
Those sleeves are super white because I had my jacket was red with the white sleeves, my Letterman jacket, and like 3 months after getting it, those sleeves were just done. They were just gross. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't
Yeah.
know. They went out and got new ones. I don't know.
Maybe they took them from current high school students. They're like, "Hey,
Yeah,
bro, need your Letterman jacket because we need to look bright and shiny here."
yeah.
And then
Side
they took
note,
them.
Hallmark, if you want to get rid of any of those or do a giveaway,
Oh my gosh, I was about to say the same thing.
then we're your gals.
Oh
We'll wear
yeah,
them. I'll wear them everywhere. I'll wear them the entire winter and take pictures and put them on my Instagram, and I can be y'all's sponsor. So yeah, send me a Letterman jacket.
yeah.
Um,
Did you have any teachers back in your day when that influenced you?
oh my gosh, yes. And I will tell this story very quickly. When I was a senior, I took French all 4 years in high school. And when I was a senior, I thought I'd be super smart and take a bunch of other languages just because I was a senior and I was like, whatever. I took Spanish and I took I took beginner Spanish. So I was the one of two upperclassmen in an all freshman beginner Spanish class. And I was terrible to my teacher because I was just a know it all senior and I was a jerk. And I was terrible to her for like the first month of school. Just thought I knew it all, thought I was just being like, ugh, I could just waltz through this class. And she was so patient with me, even though I was terrible to her. And at one point, she just was like, look, I get it. You're a senior. You don't really want to be here. I don't know why you signed up for this class if you don't want to be here, but you're not my concern. I got to teach all these other kids. And I don't know, it's just the way she said it. And I realized that she, was just doing her job and I was being a jerk. And after that, she like I don't know how to explain it. She just inspired me so much and I ended up loving her class and she ended up being one of the best teachers I ever had and I was such a jerk to her. It was terrible, but I loved
Such a
her.
little punk, huh?
I was terrible but I love because my dad worked in the school and I just thought, I can do whatever I want. I was a jerk kid. Um so
That's so funny.
yeah, she was amazing and then my sophomore year history teacher was amazing, Mr. Schaefer. He gave us so many incredible stories. He traveled a lot, and so we always had these great stories from traveling, and he was just really open-minded. He really just taught us a lot about the world, and I just loved it. So, what about you?
Um, my English teacher from high school, actually, yeah, I had her ninth grade and 11th grade. So
Oh,
yeah, I had her twice. She was amazing. She always had a smile on her face. Um, she was just a very joyful, happy person. And she was the reason why I understood English and grammar. Like, I was not getting, like, the diagramming and the dissecting of sentences and tenses and all that jazz. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, she was just amazing at what she did, and she was so patient with everybody. Everybody loved her. So on a sad note, she got really sick when I was in college.
Oh.
And I can't remember what she had. I don't know that it was cancer, but regardless, she got really sick. And I ran into her husband at college, and I was talking to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, my wife's in the car. She, you know, he didn't really say she'd love to see you, but I think he said she misses all of, your class or whatever."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And for a split second, I was like, "Oh, I should go see if I can say hi." But I think I was running late in between classes, and I was kind of like, it'll be fine. There'll be another chance. Well, there was no other opportunity, because then she got way sick, and then she ended up passing away, I think, my senior year of college. But she was just one of those teachers that left a mark. And the storyline with Kevin and the coach kind of reminded me of that. That's which awesome. Made me all kind of like in my feels. I was like,
pro teachers all the way. So,
pro teachers.
This was the best. Although, if I can say, Kevin did bother me in this episode just a tiny bit when he was at the bridge. No, he was somewhere with Sarah. Where were they? They were at the bridge, yeah?
They were at the bridge, yeah.
Yeah. And he asks her about the wedding planning, and she's overwhelmed. Sarah basically has been struggling with the wedding planning because Megan and the O'Brien sisters have just bombarded her with dresses and plans and caterers and and so Kevin asks her, "How are you doing with all of this?" And she says, "Well, it's kind of," and he says, "I know my mom can be a lot. Are you okay with that?" And she's trying to be nice, but eventually Sarah says, "No, I'm not. I'm not actually okay with this." And he's just like, "Yeah, cool. So anyways," and nothing. He's not even like, "Oh, do you want me to talk to my mom about this?" Or, "Hey, do you want to just do this?" He's just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, cool." And then she's like, "Are you okay?" So that was all set up just so she could be like, "Are you okay?" "Well, I had this call with my coach." And I'm like, "Dude, you just hijacked the whole conversation. You asked her and she told you, and you say nothing back. You're just like, oh, cool."
He was totally not listening. Ugh.
No, I mean, I know that was the point. She's like, "Are you distracted?" But
But still, she really was struggling. I mean, and I think that was the frustrating thing. Exactly.
She was standing up there in that wedding dress, which, hello, she looked incredible in it. She really did. She, as Bree said, stupid pretty. And she was like, "This is just not what I envisioned." Well, then what are you envisioning? Why'd they skip over that part? I want to know what she wants. Like,
yeah. So I didn't think it was necessarily the dress. I think that she is struggling with holding grief in one hand and joy in the other hand, and feeling conflicted about being happy when she's a widow.
Oh, yeah, she's gone through all this before.
Yeah. So it's not like this is her first time around the rodeo.
That's right. I forgot about that. You're so good. See, I was wondering, did she lose her mom? Because I thought her parents were in an episode.
Now that did confuse me. I was a little, because her parents were in an episode. Her mom and dad and her like two brothers, I think, is what she had.
3, 4, whatever. Yeah, she has brothers. She has, yeah,
ton of bros. So I was a little confused about her mom not being there in the wedding, even though she had been through a wedding before.
Right. She's like, "You only get one from me. That's it. I'm out."
But that part confused me. But the struggling, this is not what I envisioned, I think it has more to do with her internal struggle.
Oh, see, that makes more sense, because I thought does she not have a mom, or does she not have friends? And I mean, as this would kill Rachel because she hates the fact that they make it seem like her entire family is like a billion hours away. Her mom's within driving distance. Her mom could come over and help shop and stuff and help do stuff. And
Yeah. I mean, she's only in Philly. It's like,
right.
what, 90 minutes? They could even FaceTime.
Yeah, not even, you can't even get on the phone and just speakerphone. Hey, I'm trying on dresses. Look at this one. Here's a text,
Yeah.
But it did bother me earlier in the episode when they were talking at Sally's and they were like, "Oh, your brothers won't be interested," and Connor's like, "I can guarantee they won't." Why not? Maybe they would be. She doesn't know. She could ask them. What if they're like super into it?
I mean, it's true. There are some brothers that are invested in weddings. I haven't met a brother invested in a wedding yet, but I'm sure they are out there.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And then there are guys out there in to say yes to the dress.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My other question was just hijacking the bridal party.
Right?
I was like, whoa now. I get y'all are about to be sisters and all, but if my sister-in-laws did that to me, I'd be like, well, okay, let's be real. I'd probably be like Brie and be like, okay, and just shove it aside. But inwardly, I'd be like, what you think we close like that, or
right?
I mean, no. In real life, I did have my one sister-in-law in my wedding. My other sister-in-law was not my sister-in-law yet. I don't even think that she and my brother were a thing. Although if they had been a thing, I probably would have still asked her. But that aside, usually it's the bride asking the bridesmaids, not the bridesmaids asking the bride.
So I guess you need bridesmaids. Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll be bridesmaidless. I had a friend who got married with 0 bridesmaids. Well, she had her sister stand up with her, and that was it. Like, that was it. Which was fine. I mean, and then, I come from, well, my mom's Hispanic, so we have a lot of cousins. So there was always an expectation for a lot of bridesmaids. I was like, I'm capping it because I can't do that. I'm capping it at 4. I had 4, but my husband had a lot of bro friends, and so there was an uneven thing, but I don't care. I was like, whatever. We're all here. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of weird. I did like that it seemed all their dresses had pockets.
Oh, I didn't notice.
I did. I was like, fancy. Those bridesmaid dresses have pockets. Yes. I would totally, no, I wouldn't be in a wedding. Never mind. I was going to say I'd totally be in a wedding if my bridesmaid dress had pockets, but you know what? No, scratch that. I wouldn't want to be in a wedding. That's okay. I'm too old to be in weddings. I will contribute monetarily in my support. I don't need just with cash. I don't want to contribute monetarily to wear a dress and stand up in front of everybody. But so Sarah struggling, and at the bridal shop was also Abby, who's also struggling because she was trying to decide whether she should be a whistleblower on Derek Porter, aka David Lewis, aka the best. And she decided, she's like, okay, I think he's running a Ponzi scheme. Sorry. Word marbles in my mouth. And she does it. She basically leaks their financial documents or whatever she has to the paper. And her boss says, yeah, you're out until we can figure this out. And now her job is in trouble. And then we see in the previews for the next episode, she gets served with some sort of legal papers. So again, Connor could help her. And again, no mention of the kids this episode. I don't understand this. Are they just not there? Are they with Wes? Are they with Nell? We'll get to that.
Ooh. I was going to say they're with Wes and Miss Fancy Pants Lady.
Oh, that's right. Her blog, whatever it was called. Fancy. You're right. What was it called?
Oh, shoot. Miss Marvelous.
Oh, that's right. Because I kept thinking it was like Miss Marvel, and Miss Marvel, because I kept thinking that's like that show on Amazon.
Yes,
Marvelous.
Yes.
I was like, did they not really? But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, she didn't even not even like a line in the script, like, I don't know if I should do this because what if it disrupts my kids' lives?
Mm.
You know, like, oh, what if I
Yeah.
lose my job and then I can't take care of my kids? Or what if I get indicted or not indicted? What if I get, sued? Oh, and then my kids. But she sure was all over it when somebody took a random photo of her kids while she was out with Trace at one point and was like, my kids,
That's right.
I have to protect my kids. But now she could be in real legal trouble. And she's like, whatever. I'm doing it.
I did find it funny. A different note that Dell was basically like, you're kind of half fired, but good job.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you did it, but yeah, you have to leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
This will be interesting. This was the one I was like, okay, I can dig this one because this gets into some deep stuff. I mean, whistleblowing and possible trial and maybe jail time. I mean, who knows?
I just, like I said, at last episode, last Chesapeake Chats, I really want David Lewis to come out swinging. He's so cool. I just want more scenes with him just being really mad and threatening and yes. But so then we see Trace at some point and okay, y'all, I'm sorry. This is where you can fast forward and I'm sorry. You can reach me at lisa@girlgonehallmark.com for any feedback towards me for what I'm about to say, but I'm over him arguing about whether or not he should be on tour. He just needs to put it on a t-shirt. I'm not going on tour anymore. Stop asking. Get it on a sandwich board, stand outside, ring a bell. I don't know. That's all people ask. Well, you're giving up on your dreams. No, I'm not. You're not going to be on tour. I don't know. Should I be on tour? Maybe I shouldn't be. I don't care if you're on tour anymore. Done.
Can we have a shirt that says #not with the band?
Oh, yes. That would be awesome. Not with the band. The Trace Riley band.
It's now just the band.
Right.
Without Trace Riley.
The band formerly known as the Trace Riley Band. #not with the band. Yeah, I'm over the storyline, as I've said many, many times before, and he's in the bridge. Can't people just let it go? And can we not find something else for him to do? And I probably shouldn't say it like this because this sounds really crass. So I'm going to just say, instead of him running the bridge, he can establish a relationship with Emma.
Yes.
There.
Yeah. Let's just see a new relationship. I'm all for that.
Yeah. I mean, he ran Chris the waffle guy out because of all of his complaining, which I don't understand why he's complaining, because Chris, I don't know, saved the bridge from going under. Made it a legitimate business. Kept it going and managed it and gave him a business to come back to after leaving tour. But yes, let's go ahead and berate him. But the fact that Chris left and to go manage Waffle Houses was amazing.
I did not see that coming. I was like, wait.
I about fell off the couch. What? I was like, what? This is awesome.
Well, hopefully he can make the Awful Houses better Waffle Houses. So there's also that.
Although I do collect Waffle House coffee mugs because they're really good in quality. I have 2 here at my house and I have 2 at work. I know it's random, but yeah, so Trace, yes, arguing about tour, yeah, whatever. But the most interesting part is that they're putting him with Emma more, so we get to see that continue. And I think, we only have 4 episodes to make it happen, and then obviously they have to break up, so then there can be a will they or won't they at the end with him and Abby. But I'm going to enjoy this trema while I can.
See, yeah, you know what? We need trema to be a thing for at least the rest of the season and the next half of next season or more.
Yes.
I want to see groveling and I want to see the looks of,
from Abby.
That could have been me. Yeah. Yeah, and I want to see Trace super conflicted and maybe, I don't know, like mistakenly seen with Abby, and then there's an argument and like just lots of drama.
Yes.
I want to, yeah, I want them to make me want Trace and Abby back
Agreed.
together.
I want to see the scene where Trace and Emma are standing in front of the water and they're barely making eye contact. And she says, "You're just not over her, are you? Over who? Don't play games with me, Trace. Abby, you're still in love with her. Look, I'll always love Abby in some way. No, you're in love with her. Maybe I am. Ah, yeah. Okay. See, that's what I want. Done.
Yes. Yes. I want that.
But
Make
not
me
until
want them
after they've been
together.
together for a while. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we need them to be we need hashtag trauma to be a thing through season 5.
What would have been really interesting is if instead of Chris Waffle being rude to Emma, as if he tried to make a play for her, and then Trace got jealous, realizing, oh, I kind of am into this girl, and then they could have gone out, and then Trace, after he dumps her for Abby to go back to her, he and Emma could have taken off because she's like, I serve in joints all over, whatever, and they could have gone, and he could have managed Waffle Houses, and she could have served at them. I don't know.
Yeah.
This could have taken a whole different direction.
I know.
So, yeah, but okay. So the last person we haven't talked about yet is Megan, which she didn't have a whole lot to do this episode except wear those amazing glasses. Yeah, and run around trying to plan Kevin and Sarah's wedding. And I guess this is just a way to make up for the past because she wasn't there for a lot. But my question was, there's 5 kids, right? Three girls and 2 boys. Okay. Only one of those kids has gotten married. So she's only missed out on one wedding planning. If that's what if that's what happened. So there's still plenty of time for her to be like, "Oh, I can be involved." But does this mean that she wasn't at any family events over the years? Like nothing, no graduations, no birthday parties, no just whatever. Like, was she there for the birth of Abby's kids? Like, was she at Abby's wedding? Like, she makes it seem like she missed out on everything, period.
Yeah. It makes it sound like she just, I thought she just showed up.
Oh,
if she was invited.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And just didn't have anything to do with them?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm here. Here's my gift. Okay, goodbye. And I feel like it would have gotten worse as the kids got older. Like Abby and Kevin, I feel like she would have been a little less awkward. And then Bree, Connor, and then Jess. I mean, I would be surprised if Jess even had her at her graduation.
That makes sense.
I mean, so maybe it's like that. As far as the wedding thing, yeah, I mean, you're right. She's only had one daughter get married. There's 2 more.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just super excited about Kevin and Sarah because Kevin's like her favorite child.
They're like, you're her favorite.
I mean, that was a thing. Everybody said Kevin was the favorite.
Well, that could
so
be
maybe
it too.
That was part of it too.
You're so smart. I don't think of these things. I'm just like, Megan, stop it. But I mean, okay. But seriously, in your wedding, and I'm not trying to ask for like super deep, dark family secrets or for you to say anything terrible, but did your mother-in-law help a lot with your wedding? Your prospective mother-in-law? Mine didn't either. She was like, that's not my job.
No, she was, they did the rehearsal dinner and they're not from here. So basically they were like, here, give us a list of restaurants that can fit, so many people and we'll do it.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was amazing. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty chill. Now my mother-in-law is awesome. She's super chill. Super cool.
I didn't think that was the norm. But I've only been married once, so maybe other people can chime in here. But I mean, my mother-in-law was like, because I didn't want to not include her. So I was, I kept saying, if you want to go to this or if you want to go to this. And she's like, no, we don't do that. That's your mom's and she wasn't mean about it. She was just like, no, that's not what I do. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know. I mean, my wedding was super cash. So I was like, okay. I just didn't want her to feel like she wasn't included because she only had sons. And I thought if she wanted to be a part of it, you know what I mean? But Yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess that's what strikes me as weird is Kevin's mom is like, all right, let's get to it. She's got that giant binder, like her Leslie note binder, and she's like, all right, ready? Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Intimidating.
Yeah, that
So,
was weird. And I felt like it was kind of uncharacteristic of Megan. Because
right?
usually Megan's very careful and
Yeah.
very sensitive to everybody else's feelings. But this one, she's like, all right, here we go. Let's go. Let's get it. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. It was odd, but I get it. She's trying to make up for stuff. Now, there was a moment which initially when I saw it, because I watched this episode twice. Initially when I saw it, I thought it was very sweet that Mick at some point, Megan comes in to basically vent about what's going on and catch up with Mick. And he tells her, look, you don't ever have to worry that you're not a part of this family, which I thought was very sweet on the first viewing. I was like, oh, that's really sweet of him. But on the second viewing, I realized Megan kind of just stares at him a little bit. She has like this weird expression on her face. And I'm wondering if she's looking at him like, really? You're saying this to me after all these years? Because didn't he keep her away? Like from
Oh.
family stuff? Like, wasn't he like, because at one point it's alluded to like throughout the series that they fought a lot and Mick was like, go, and you don't, then this isn't your family anymore. And he like kind of kept her away from them. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know. I feel like that was a part of it at some point.
Okay. So, in all fairness, I don't remember her reactions. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. But I didn't think he kept her away. I think
Yeah.
maybe he guilted her into staying away, but not necessarily like, you can't come back and see your
Right.
children.
Oh, not like super aggressive or anything, but I just,
Yeah. But because, I mean, even he wasn't really all that involved with his kids' lives either.
right, because he was always working.
Right. And then he was the one that made the call to Megan when Nell was sick.
Right.
And that's when she came back, which means that they had to have been on good terms by that point.
Right. But that first season, they were constantly fighting. They were like, I can't do this. They would try and talk and then they would get in a fight and they would just walk away. And so you got the idea that they were pretty, not volatile, but they were, just a lot of arguing when they were together. So I'm just wondering, okay, so if you get a chance to see it, she just kind of stares at him for a beat too long and just kind of looks at him like, really? You're saying this to me? Because it was a very sweet thing that he said, but she didn't look like she took it very well. So.
Oh, interesting. Was it kind of like a look of, I can't believe you're saying this to me because that's not usually how you are?
Well, it looked to me like, when somebody does you wrong and then later they kind of try and brush it over and they say, well, I was just kidding, or, it was just, and you just look at them like, really? You and I
Right.
both know what went down and you're trying to tell me like, oh, you're still a part of this family. Like after all those years, you made me feel like I wasn't. Okay. That's rich coming from you, sir. Something very dramatic, that sort of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's
I'll
all
have to
I was
watch it
saying.
again.
Okay. So if anybody else noticed that and you think that as well, let me know because maybe I was just reading too much into it. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's pretty much everybody from the show, except it's time for our next segment, which before we get into it, I just have to say a big shout out, thank you to Angela To Be Pecked from Twitter because she's amazing and she made us an intro song to this segment. And seriously, she's awesome. I just love her. She's so supportive with all of our podcasts and she's always comments, always gives us feedback. And I just love her. So here we go. Our next segment.
The mystery is, where is Nell O'Brien?
That is the mystery. Where is Nell O'Brien? Oh, she said that and I was like, this is legit perfection. So, okay, but seriously, where is she?
Where is Nell? I was looking for her and she never popped up. Nobody ever mentioned it, even in passing, and not even like, oh, grandma would be she'd be missing out on this wedding planning, or
Right.
oh, what do they call her? They don't call her Nell, do they?
Yeah, I thought they
do the kids call her Nell?
Don't they?
I don't even remember. She's been gone so long.
I know. Psh, I don't even know what they call her.
Is it like Mima, Mammy,
Mima.
Grandma?
Grams,
Y'all
right?
could tell. Gran. It's Gran.
Gran. Yes.
Gran, right?
Gran.
Yeah.
And they're always eating her muffins. They're always climbing on her counters. She's always doing something. And seriously,
she's always hitting Connor on the hand when he takes the muffins. There's been no O'Brien family kitchen scene.
This is why they're all falling apart. She's not there to keep it together for them.
Yeah, there's no wisdom for Bree. That's why Bree can't make up her stinking mind on Simon Martin, whatever his name is.
Smartin. Right? I mean, so where is she? Like, are they just gonna bring her back like next episode, and we're all just supposed to pretend that we didn't see her for 2 episodes? Are they gonna have a reason why she's gone? Has she joined a cult? Like, what is happening? I need answers. Hallmark.
Maybe she's in Ireland gathering wisdom to bring back to the family. She's got this unagi thing going on, so she knows what's going on. She's gone to the Ireland people and
the
is
Irish?
imparting.
Is that the word you're looking for?
Yes, the Irish, getting wisdom and trying to, pass it on or intake it or something like that, so that her family won't be falling apart. And she's gonna, mush up her wisdom into the children, and they will all live happily ever after. She's getting wisdom.
Okay, that's a good one. I can support that. Now, my theory is a little bit more far-fetched. I think that she has run off with the grandpa from Good Witch, because isn't he also Irish? I know you don't watch the show. This is just a rhetorical question. Maybe she took off with him. He hasn't been, he's been on the show, but not a whole lot. Maybe they're off together. Maybe they met in Ireland. Maybe it was a singles cruise to Ireland. I don't know. We don't know. That's the problem, Hallmark. We don't know.
I did have a split thought for a second there, and thought maybe she's with the shoe lady from that Candace Cameron Bure movie.
Jean Smart?
Yes, that's it.
The shoe lady.
Oh yes. Gosh. Maybe she needs help.
Did you ever watch Designing Women with Jean Smart? Did you ever watch that show?
I don't think so.
Okay. I feel really old. They just dropped the entire series on Hulu, FYI, and that's basically going to absorb. I think it's been out on it for like a week or two, but now that I know it, that's going to absorb my life. So that's all. So yeah, people, do you guys know where Nell is? Let us know. Let us know in the feedback. Tweet at us. Give us your theories. Let us know what you think.
Send us the most far-fetched theory out there. Yes. I want to hear your crazy brains, so you all aren't like, yeah, that Kaycee awesome. Chick's crazy.
Okay, so the next segment is random moments. Do you have any random moments from this episode?
Random moments.
Yes. That did not actually contribute to the plot, were just amazing on their own.
Yes.
Okay.
So when Jess and David are at the New Inn and they're walking around and they have like the music, and Jess is like in awe, and she says, "It's perfect." It just reminded me very much of Lorelai Gilmore in the end.
Oh. It did. You're right.
It was very much a Gilmore Girls moment, and it made me giggle because it's been a while since I've seen Gilmore Girls, but I feel like there was a moment where Lorelai walks into her inn and is like, "Oh, yeah." The new one. Right. Not the old one. Yeah.
I try and pretend that the new one didn't happen, but that's neither here nor there.
Ooh, not the new series. I meant the new inn.
Okay.
Because there are 2 inns.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying like the new.
Oh, yeah. I pretend that didn't happen either.
Episodes. Yeah. No, the new inn. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was that the only one, or do you have another one?
I think. Oh. I do have one more.
Okay.
It's when Emma tells Trace, "Oh, so you give it all up to be a glorified handyman."
Yeah. That was pretty boss.
I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
And
They
that's
have
it.
good chemistry. They need to be together. Okay.
Mm.
Well, I was gonna piggyback off yours at the end when Jess says, "Oh, it's perfection." Back it up just a squidge to when they're walking up to the property and Bria's complaining and Abby says, "Any man would be crazy not to want to be with you," and just casually flings out, "Except for David."
I know, I forgot about that part.
Awkward. I mean, and then David kind of looks at her like, because they had a thing. Are we going to pretend like they didn't have a thing? They had a thing, and that was awkward, and I loved it. It was, she just said, except David, which was great.
Yeah, that was sassy, man.
Yes!
It was great.
Ooh,
where did that come from? We haven't addressed this in 4 seasons.
Burn, dude. Thanks, sis. But,
Right?
my other one was when all of them are in the bridal shop and they're all trying on their dresses. I was dying because this was such a girl conversation to be talking about issues and then interjecting with it. "Oh, that color looks really good on you." So anyways, and then you just keep going and it just stop and be like, "Oh, I love that beading. I love that." And then you just keep going on the car. They just kept doing that. And I just thought, that's exactly the way, I'm not sure about everyone else, but that's exactly the way I speak with my friends. I'll be talking about something, like, I don't know, complaining about something or talking about work. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that color looks really good on you. That works." Anyways, so the project, just, I thought it was real and I thought it was great. So I loved it. But that was my last one.
That's too funny.
Yeah. So, yay, we did it. Episode 2. We did it.
Woohoo!
We're done.
Yay!
You guys. So thank you for listening. I want to know what you guys thought about episode 2. You guys have been so great with your comments on Twitter. I look forward to them. I'm sorry I don't jump on them super quick because when I get to work, I try and sneak tweet. But I also work in a cubicle environment, so everybody can see what I'm working on in my giant screens. And I'm always like, "Yeah, I'm not on Twitter at all. Not at all. I'm totally working." So I have to wait till nobody's around. And then I'm like, "Oh, let me bombard everybody with responses." So if you don't hear from me, I'm sorry. But I do love your comments. So let us know. And speaking of Twitter, Kaycee, where can people find you online?
Ooh, you can find me on Twitter at Hallmark My Words.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Girl Gone Hallmark. And you can follow the pod on Twitter at Hallmarkies Pod, on Instagram at Hallmarkies Podcast. And if you are so inclined, you can join us over at patreon.com/Hallmarkies, where for as little as $2, you can have access to exclusive Patreon-only content, including some fabulous giveaways and whatnot. So again, thank you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you and that you take time to listen, comment, and tweet with us. So, all right, until next time, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.